Well, we've come today to Knowlton Church and Earthworks. It's a Norman church extensively remodelled in the 14th century. It stands inside a late Neolithic hedge monument. Constructed 2500 BC, it consists of a ring bank with two entrances and an internal ditch. It was probably meant for ceremonial use. So let me show you this fabulous place. So there's the church, which tales have it that yes, this was a pagan site for gatherings. It was a stone circle at one point, eons ago, and as with all pagan sacred sites, or not all of them, but the Romans came along and the church came along and slapped a church on the site with the hope of converting the pagans to Christianity. And the windows and shapes of the door, which are arch shape, are the shape of a woman's yoni. And the church is said to have made the doors and windows this shape because the pagans worshipped goddess, and the woman's yoni was the place that you reached the point of meeting goddess incarnate. So to have doorways that shape and windows that shape, pagans were led to believe that if they entered the building, they'd be entering in to the sacredness of goddess. Okay, so the church was built, and I believe it was the bell tower that fell down. So they rebuilt it and it fell down again. So they decided not to build it again, and I think it was the energy. Obviously I'm shamanic, I'm pagan, and there's a battle of energy here between the old pagan energy and the Christian energy. Rumour has it that there is a black monk that walks around this area trying to keep it within the Christian energy and to try and keep the Christian energy here in this sacred place. The pagan energy, if there was a battle, won the battle and is back to being a pagan area now, where there's many ceremonies held here, and people come here for hand fastings, people come here just to honour the ancient ancestors of the land. And there are these two amazing yew trees that stand on the edge of the henge, which is a portal and could have been a ceremonial pathway into the sacred circle to have their ceremonies from eons ago. Now over here, which I'll just bring you over, there is a stone which some say is the last of the standing stones that were actually here. Sorry, Maeve's having a sniff. That was actually left here. The remainder of the stones were broken up and made to use the walls of the church. So they wrecked the stone circles, so the sayings go, to put stones in to make the church. So these fabulous yew trees, they're very ancient. Also, around the yew tree we have elder growing. And for those of you that work with tree energy, elder is the eldest witchy tree / plant of the plant kingdom. And here's the most amazing yew. You will find that most churchyards have yew trees in them. This is because, like I said earlier, the yew trees where the edge of a stone circle or the edge of a gathering place, and the churches were built on the gathering places. So there's normally yew trees that are in church graveyards. The yew trees symbolise death and rebirth. They're very, very poisonous. They let off a mist, stroke aroma, stroke... Whoops. Falling over the roots here in Maeve. They let off a mist so that if you're here, and the Druids used to sleep under a yew tree to get prophetic dreams. So if you do touch a yew tree, make sure you wash your hands well afterwards. Now, as you can see, this is the back of the yew trees. So there's an entrance over to the land. And then here you have the entrance to the church. You can see the church in the distance. And people leave offerings in the trees, in the yew trees. They leave prayers for their loved ones. They hang ribbons. They leave flowers. They leave messages. They leave stones, painted pebbles. If ever you do this, make sure that they're not tied tight. That's going to strangle that branch, and the branch will grow bigger and it will eat into the branch and will restrict the yew tree, which would be like you wearing a pair of shoes that are very uncomfortable. Everything needs to be biodegradable. So this glass, I don't know if it's in focus, but this little glass bauble here is not really suitable. If that fell to the ground, it could hurt an animal that wanders through. But periodically people come and clear all the ribbons off, which I'm two ways with that. I'm quite sad because it's people's prayers that they've left up for loved ones, or it's messages to spirit, messages to the ancestors. I only hope that the people that clear all the ribbons and everything don't just throw them in a wheelie bin, that they honour them, do ceremony with them all, and release them somewhere sacred, maybe into the ground, maybe leave them for a bit on the earth so the energy can sink into Mother Earth. If they just come along, take them down, put them in a Sainsbury's carrier bag and throw them in a wheelie bin, I think that's totally disrespectful for all the people who have left the offerings. But like I say, I totally understand that they need to come off. I've left biodegradable things out here and they're not here when I come out again. So when people say they leave the biodegradable things there, I don't believe that happens. I think they just come in, strip it down. But anyway, there we go. They're caretakers of the henge. Maybe they don't understand it as deep as some people, but that's just my views. So what I'm going to do, here's the church here. I'm just going to pause this for a minute and I'm going to go up to one of the top of the henges. Be back in a sec. So across the field from the henge, there's a farmer's field that normally has sheep roaming in it. There's a mound with loads and loads of trees. When I've come here with different people and I bring students here on my shamanic training that I hold for people, I get them to do a shamanic journey over to that mound to see what they pick up on. It is part of the henge. It's marked, I believe, on maps as part of the henge. And I believe it's a burial mound. So if we go along here, if I don't trip over Baxter and Maeve again. So funny when you're trying to film walking with them, anything can happen. Bear with me a minute, we're just walking along this top of this ridge and we're going to go down to this bit. Right, as you can see, there's the mound across the field and there's almost a straight line that comes through this dip in the henge to go directly to the church, which wouldn't have been there. It would have been the centre of the henge, the centre of the circle. So coming over here and connecting, picking up on the energies, I believe this is like a procession path. And I've picked up that maidens come from the mound, dressed in white. This pathway is lined with lit fire torches to guide the way for the maidens to bring the deceased to the centre of the circle for ceremony, and then taken back over to the mound, back over there, for their final resting place. That's my connection with this sacred place. This path in particular, you can pick up, there's the yew trees, look. This path in particular is definitely a processional path of some sort. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you into the church now. But you can see the henge going all the way around the edge. It goes completely around the circle. And the church stands wallop right in the middle of this sacred space. But the church is interesting in itself. This area is supposed to be extremely haunted, and a lot of people don't stay out here overnight. If they stay out here, they stay out for an evening and then they leave because mysterious things happen. So, we're going to go into the church. We're going to enter into the yoni doorway. As you can see, it's the shape of the female yoni, and the little door to go out the other side is the same shape. The energy is very, very different in this place, in this church space. You have the big steeple or bell tower, and if you look up, there's no roof on it. It's quite a powerful vortex here. Whether that's the energy that the church created, or whether they hit a portal spot there when they built it and thought this is a great place to build it. There's some interesting bits in the wall. There's another yoni-shaped doorway into another section of the church ruins. And here, my lovelies, is a hagstone. Look, you can put your hand all the way through. Oh, where are we? I can't work this thing sometimes. There's my fingers wiggling. Look, isn't that interesting? You've also got the shape of a hag's nose and cheeks on that bit. I don't know if you'll see it, hopefully you'll be able to, but she's got her cloak, her eye is here, her nose is here, and her chin comes down. Hopefully you can see that, but if you pay a visit over here, come and have a look, because so many things appear in these stone walls. So you can see there's not a lot left of the building. Over here, a lot of people pick up that there are a lot of sacrifices made on this stone. Whether that's correct or not, who knows, but you need to come out and you need to connect with the energy of this place, because it's very, very different. And I want to show you this stone here. I don't know if you can see, but there's actually a face in the flint on this section here. There's two eyes, a beaky face, but he looks a little bit like a ancient old Victorian man who is part bird, part person. I hope you can see that. When I first came out here, I took a photograph of this flint, got home, put it on the laptop, and pam, this face was there. When I came out the next time, I thought I've got to see if the face is still there or if it's a one-off, and sure enough, it's captured within this flint. Flint is as powerful as a clear quartz crystal, so don't underestimate the power of flint. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of flint in these walls of this church. In the corners of the church, over here, when you come out, stand in the corners and feel into the energy. It's really quite weird. I'm not going to say any more than that because it's your interpretation as to what you're feeling. So, this is the outside of the other side of the church. So you get a different view of the remains of it. Okay, and as you can see, we've just had summer solstice. I don't know what the date is today. And you can see flower offerings left. Someone's left some roses. They could have been for the solstice energy. They could have been honouring ancestors. If you come to a site like this, do not leave trash. Hubby and I and another gentleman are out here. We cleared some rubbish from this site that people had just left, and there's another piece there I'm going to pick up. Tea light holder. For goodness sake, people, take them home. They're going to hurt the animals. They litter it for people that come next. Be respectful of the ancient sites. We need to keep them safe, okay? We need to keep them nice. If you leave litter, you're dishonouring the ancestors who have used this for time and time and time again. So, anyway, enough of my little rants throughout this video. It's because I'm passionate about the area. I'm passionate about the place. It's open, it's English heritage. We don't have to pay. Let's respect it. We need to respect the ancestors. And it's a good idea to come out here, sit on the earth, connect with the ancestors, get sacred words from the ancestors, and just be. And here, my lovelies, is Knowlton Henge. If you've liked this video, do the thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and press the notification button. And I hope you've lasted to the end. It's a bit of a long one because I'm passionate about this place, and I think it's beautiful for you to experience it if you're not in the area and you want to come down.